Cooperation for Local Development Solutions ay isang lokal na organisasyon, isang non-government organization na nakarehistro sa Securities and Exchange Commission noong July 27, 2021. Layunin po namin ang kagalingan ng ating lipunan, lalo't higit ang mga mahihirap at walang kakayanang pamilyang Pilipino. Ninanais po ng ating organisasyon na makatulong sa inyong kabuhayan at kalusugan. Gayun din, hangad din po namin na tulungan kayo na maging ligtas sa mga panganib tulad halimbawa ng bagyo at climate change, lindol at epidemya kagaya ng COVID. Pawang mga Batanggenya ang nagtayo ng Cooperation for Local Development Solutions. Sila ay sina Carmencita Lourdes Aguila Acusar, Marico Medina, Janine Bonifacia Macasaet, Attorney Micaela Rosales, Dr. Julieta Atienza Villanueva, Imelda Abarquez, at Zenaida Delica Willison. Maraming salamat po.
Good afternoon po sa inyo lahat. I am your host for this afternoon. My name is Janine Bube Macasaet, and please do join me for an hour and a half for a very, very timely and napapanahon na discussion on mental health. Our NGO, yung CLODEVS nga po, came up with this because for the information of everyone, October is declared, it was declared as a mental health awareness month by the then President Fidel V. Ramos via Proclamation 452. And he signed this August 25, 1994, And from then on, and up to this time, we are celebrating the Mental Health Awareness Week. And so, because of this, I would like to invite everyone to just listen, to just watch, and to just namnamin po natin because we have a very distinguished speaker for this afternoon. And we're just so fortunate enough to have invited her. She was able to squeeze in her precious time. She's a very busy person. And we're so thankful because pinaunlakan po na tayo ngayong gabing ito, ngayong hapon na ito. And I would just like to get the ball rolling. Ayoko na po masyado magsalita because she has so much to talk about and we have so much to learn. So, she is a fellow of the Philippine Psychiatric Association, a diplomat of the Specialty Board of Philippine Psychiatry. She holds position in various government and private institutions. She's an active consultant of Lipa Medics Medical Center, Metro San Jose Medical Center, and the Divine Home Care in Mandaluyong City. She's also a facility psychiatrist of several rehabilitation centers, namely the Self-Rehabilitation and Therapeutic Community in Talisay, Batangas. Another one is in Oriental Mindoro Rehabilitation and Recovery Center in Calapan City, Oriental Mindoro, and also at the Sanctum Rehabilitation and Home Care in San Jose, Batangas. She's also the current president of the Southern Tagalog Group of Psychiatrists, or the Samahang Tumataguyod sa Gawaing Pangkaisipan. We're not yet done. Meron pa po. She is a board member of the Philippine Mental Health Association, or the PMHA Lipa City, Batangas chapter. She's also the current chairman of the Department of Neurobehavioral Science of Lipa Medics Medical Center, a medical specialist too of the Batangas Medical Center. But you know what? Above all those very impressive credentials that she has, she would want to be introduced as a very doting mom to her one and only daughter, named the cutie and the pretty Fiona Hart, as pretty as her name. So without further ado, please welcome, let us welcome our distinguished speaker for this afternoon, Dr. Arlene Briones. Hi, Doc.
Hi, good
How
afternoon,
are you?
Janine. Good afternoon,
afternoon, Doc.
everyone. Kamusta po tayong lahat?
Mabuti naman
First
ako.
off, I would like to thank the organizers, the CLODEVS, Cooperative for Local CLODEVS, Cooperative for Local Development Solutions. Thank you for having me here. The pleasure, the honor is mine. Like Janine said, the invitation was too short. I was just informed like a week or more so. But how can I say no to a fellow Kanusiana? More so, how can I say no to Miss A, my mentor? Yeah. So for this afternoon, when they gave me the invite, sabi ko nga kay Janine, people have been here and there webinars, di ba? So in as much as, yes, there's a lecture part, after the lecture part, mas gusto ko po yung interactive na discussion, no? So feel free, no, for parang nagkukwentuhan lang po tayo. Okay? So let us begin.
Yes, Doc. Take it away, Doc.
Okay. So just as Janine mentioned, no po, talagang inihabol po itong lecture na ito in celebration of the World Mental Health Month, no? Sabi ni Janine, kailangan ma-lecture to ngayong October kasi matatapos na yung Mental Health Month. So now we have it, okay? So the title of my lecture is Mental Health in the Era of COVID-19. Next slide, please. Okay. So it is a very common knowledge that what we have now is pandemic, right? And when we say pandemic, ano ba yung pumapasok sa isipan natin pag sinabing pandemic, no? Pandemic is an outbreak of a disease. So therefore, what do we have? What do we feel? No? How do we react? No? Isa lang naman ang reaction natin dyan, no? Pangamba, pagkatakot, no? Pagkabahala, no? Anxiety or worry. So that at the end of this lecture, our objective, let's come into conclusion na while getting ahead of the story, no? I hope that by the end of this lecture, all of us would realize, no? Would come to a realization na it's okay to not be okay. Okay, next slide, please. Okay. So the pandemic has left many feeling adrift because those daily routines that were essential to us before the COVID-19 crisis have evaporated. It's like one day we woke up na suddenly the world changed, di ba? It has been replaced with uncertainties and a lack of a structure that can contribute to stress, anxiety, and even clinical depression. Okay. So at least 33.6 million Filipinos battling mental health issues amidst this pandemic. This is according to the Department of Health. Ito po yung mga nasa census, ito yung mga recorded, di ba? Ito yung data, no? What about dun sa mga unreported? So you can just imagine how much more we have. No? How much more are suffering from mental health, any form of mental health issues brought about by this pandemic. Okay, so it is said that 1 in 3 COVID-19 patients are diagnosed with any or at least any neuropsychiatric condition in the next month, no? Be it at any point, no? Be it during the quarantine, be it while after the quarantine, no? So isa pala sa tatlong nagkakasakit ng COVID patient ang pwedeng magkaroon ng mental condition. Okay. So our objective for this afternoon are the following, no? To provide basic understanding of concepts of mental health and mental illness, to discuss the mental health impacts of the pandemic, to identify depression and anxiety, and to develop self-care for everyone. Okay, as mentioned, this October, we are particularly last October 10, we celebrated the World Mental Health Day. So nakikita ko po sa TV, no, maraming nag-a-address ng mental health issues, no, especially recently because nga of this celebration. Okay, so let's go to the basics first. Ano po? What is health? No, this is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely the absence of a disease. This is as defined by the World Health Organization in 1948. So hindi porke at wala kang sakit, ikaw ay malusog na. Yun lang po ang ibig sabihin nun, no? It embraces not only the body, but the mind and spirit too. Not just pain or pleasure, but the whole person. Yung kabuuan, no, ng pagkatao o katauhan ng isang individual, ng isang tao. Okay. Now, what is mental health? Define naman po natin yung mental health, no? WHO defined mental health as the state of well-being in which individual realizes his or her own abilities and can cope with normal stresses of life, can work productively, fruitfully, can contribute to the community. There is no health without mental health. So in essence, ano po, mental health is striking a balance among all the aspects of our lives. It is important as all the other aspects that we work hard to achieve. No, it affects how we think, how we feel, how we react. Okay? Okay. So, what does this slide wants to show, no po? That this is what we have now, no? Ito po yung stressors natin ngayon, no? In general, overall, no? Ano yung mga stressors natin, no? COVID exposure, quarantine, social isolation, income losses, madaming nawalan ng trabaho, di po ba? May mga delay sa school, may mga challenges sa mga module na yan, no? Meron pong mga online classes na ngayon ay isa sa nagiging stress, no, ng mga estudyante. Another stressor can be if you are a caregiver, no, to a family member or to a loved one suffering from COVID. Ang isa pa, especially nung mga una-una, ay yung inadequate PPEs. Isa po ito sa mga concern din natin, no? And sadly, no, di ba lately, ano yung nababalitaan natin na sa mga PPE pa lang yan, ay may corruption pa ding nangyari. Di ba nakakalungkot po yun, ano? So, in all this, no po, in all this, ano po yung naging reaction natin dito, di ba? Yung iba po can experience trauma, no? Especially if you have suffered from a severe form of COVID, no? If you were hospitalized for a long time, if you were quarantined for a long time, no? If you witnessed death, no, of a loved one, if a loved one dies, if a friend dies, no? And extreme exposure to COVID-19. Sa mga nabanggit ko, sino po ang hindi matotrauma? Di po ba? Kung isa sa mga ito ay naranasan natin. I will share my own experience. My brother, who is a surgeon, he is the #1 COVID patient of Lipa. He is the number 98 COVID patient of the Philippines. Ngayon po ay hindi ko na alam kung gaano kadami meron ng Lipa at ang buong Pilipinas. He was diagnosed with COVID March 14, nag-lockdown po ng March 17. So ito po yung unang-una, no? Unang-una talaga na hindi pa natin alam lahat kung anong gagawin, wala pang gamot, no? Na takot pa talaga po lahat, di ba? Alam niyo po, then I was the runner. Kasi po, The wife was quarantined, the secretary, the driver was put on quarantine. I myself was on quarantine, kaya lang I had no choice kasi no one will move around for him. No one will do the errands. Alam niyo po yung, hindi ko naman siya masasabing talagang trauma, pero somehow sabi ko nga, natatanong ko yung sarili ko, alam niyo po yung, di ba, total lockdown nung time na yon. Yung mula Lipa hanggang Alabang, parang natatakbo siya ng driver namin ng less than 30 minutes lang kasi walang traffic, walang tao, no? Mag-stop over ako dun sa mga gasoline station, walang tao, security guard lang ang nandoon. So, alam niyo po yung ngayon, pag dumadaan ako, lagi naman po akong dumadaan sa highway, sa SLEX, di ba? Pero naalaala ko pa rin palagi yun. Naalaala ko pa rin. You know why? Kasi because at that time, I was also symptomatic. I had diarrhea at that time. No fever lang. No cough, whatever. Pero may diarrhea ako. So mag-i-stop ako sa mga doing errands for him. Mag-i-stop ako sa mga gasoline station. Mag-CCR ako. Walang tao. Kami lang dalawa talaga ng guard. Ngayon po, pag every time nadadaan ako doon, naalaala ko. More or less naalaala ko yung mga times na yun. No? Pero if I may call it trauma, maybe, pero not clinical trauma naman po, no? Pero it can be for me, it can be classified as such, no? Sabi nga po ng mga friends ko, yan si Arlene may trauma yan sa COVID. Talaga pong meron. As of present, I have been swabbed like 15 times already because of repeated exposures at various circumstances. Opo. The first one was my exposure to my brother at that time. So, yun lang po, no? So these are what we have, no? These are the situations. These can be our reactions, no? Now, what are our protective factors? What do we have naman, no po? We have the social support of our families, of our community, of our loved ones, no po? Financial stability, no? That can be, of course, a big factor. Kung alam mo na kahit na naka-lockdown, ay ikaw ay kakain, naka-quarantine kay kakain ka 3 times a day more, no? Napakalaki pong bagay yon sa isang nagko-quarantine, no? And of course, employment, no? Safe workplace, no? Alam mo yung ikaw ay papasok sa trabaho na ikaw ay makakauwi na safe ka sa back to your family, and of course yung wellness programs, no, like this one we are doing now, no. So ang wellness program po, very big factor po ito, no, na nakakatulong talaga, especially at this point. Okay, of course yung mga adequate PPE and the availability of COVID-19 testing, no. So these are our protective factors. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Okay. So with that, because of the trauma, because of our reactions, no, these are the mental health disorders that can develop, no, or that can happen to any one of us, no. So when we say mental health disorders, these are characterized by a combination of abnormal thoughts, perceptions, emotions, behavior, and relationship with others. So ano po yung mga common mental health disorders, especially this pandemic? Depression, bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, and other psychosis, no? Yung mga common among the elderly is the dementia and depression, and then yun po mga pervasive developmental disorders sa mga children, kasi wala, nahinto yung mga therapy nila, di ba? Nahinto yung mga activities nila. So lahat po talaga. I always tell my patients nga, what we have now is what we call universal anxiety. Lahat po tayo ngayon, di ba? Sino po ang hindi natakot? Sino po ang hindi natatakot sa COVID? Sino ang hindi natatakot mamatay eventually, di ba? So lahat po tayo, no? Wala pong exception dyan. Okay. So ano po ba yung mga stress natin during this pandemic, no? So fear. Okay, na nabanggit ko na po, no? Ito yung pinakamahigpit kalaban ng isang nagko-quarantine kasi bukod sa binibilang mo yung araw, binabantayan mo kung may madidevelop na symptoms, di ba?
Yes,
Meron
yes.
po akong pasyente na talagang every 30 minutes nagpa-pulse oximeter siya. Wala ba naman babago, sabi niya. Pero talagang binabantayan niya kung uubuhin siya, kung mawawalan ng
Same, Doc. Same.
Ha? Na-experience ko din yan, di ba?
Yes,
Kaya,
yes.
oo, I have one patient talagang lagi siya nagpapaservice. Ako din po, sabi ko nga kung pwede lamang linggo-linggo magpaswab ako, okay lang sa akin. Why? Because I come home to my elderly parents, to my 7-year-old child. So, kung minsan takot ka na baka pag uwi mo, ikaw ay may daladalang sakit. Yes. Diba? So, sabi ko nga po, this time kasi you do not only fear for yourself, you fear for your loved ones. Diba? Takot ka, meron kaming mga kakilalang colleagues namin, co-doctors, talagang hindi sila umuuwi. There was a time na some group of doctors, naka-check-in sila sa mga, taga rito rin lang yan sa Lipa, pero mga naka-check-in sila dito sa mga hotels kasi ayaw nilang umuwi sa mga families nila, sa mga elderly, sa mga senior, no, sa may mga kasama sa bahay na may sakit, because they fear contaminating them, no? Yes. They do not only fear for their own life, they fear for the lives of their loved ones, no? Very common po yung sleep problem, no? Insomnia or hypersomnia, no? And kung may pre-existing health condition, no, this can worsen, no? Kasi nga po stress ka so syempre yung stress ka or depress ka, yung panglaban mo, mahina rin. Di ba? Mahina yung resistance mo. Okay? Can you please go back to the previous slide? Okay. So, kung item number 4, worsening of mental conditions, no po, ito po very, very evident. Kung ikaw ay may existing na anxiety before, talaga pong natitrigger ngayon. Kung may existing ka na depression before, talaga pong natitrigger. No? Talagang sabi nga nila, dati naman nakaka-cope ako, bakit ngayon hindi? Diba? So, at ito po yung isa ring nakakalungkot. Because of the pandemic, no? Unfortunately, tumaas po ang census or tumaas po ang rate ng substance abuse. Very common, yung alcohol, smoking, kasi stress di ba? So, ang tendency ng iba. Yung online sabong, no? Very, very common po yan ngayon, no? Next slide, please. Ako nga po ay pag nanonood ng TV, siguro ay makikita nyo rin sa news, nakakalungkot na despite the times that we have now, makikita mo na ganitong kalaking amount ng shabu ang nahuli sa ganyang lugar. Di ba? Sabi ko nga at this point, no, talagang kaya kasi po tumataas nga po, no, ang rate ng mga ganyang mental condition, and substance abuse is a form of a psychiatric condition. So ano po ang impact ng pandemic na ito sa ating kalusugang pangkaisipan, no? Of course, negative impact on our mental health and generally our well-being. That's why we experience difficulty in sleeping. Minsan ang appetite po natin naapektuhan, and as mentioned earlier, no, pwedeng tumaas yung alcohol consumption mo. Kung ikaw ay dating manginginom, mas lalo kang naging manginginom ngayon. Kung ikaw ay dating nagda-drugs, may mga tendency po na lalong mas dumalas yung pagda-drugs mo. Okay? And yung worsening, kung meron ng chronic condition, ang dahilan po nito ay yung stress natin, no? Yung stress, yung worry about coronavirus. Minsan po ginagawa nilang coping yan. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. So this is a recent survey, no. Unfortunately po, there's not much study, no, done in the Philippines about stress as with regards to the COVID-19 pandemic. But this is a study done by some group of doctors in Philippine General Hospital, no, na 51% daw have experienced great stress, no, more stress 35%, and there's little or no stress 14% lang. So what does this slide shows? Na talaga pong to a greater population, no, mas marami po yung naka-experience ng great stress as opposed to dun sa konting-konti lang na stress. Okay? Next slide, please. Okay. This is another study by Dr. Joseph Anlacan, another psychiatrist from the Philippine General Hospital. No? Parang ito po ay somewhat like 1,800 respondents. No? It showed that 16.3% no, has rated to have moderate to severe stress, 16.9 moderate to severe depression, and 28% moderate to severe anxiety. So kung i-compare po natin, kukonti, no, yung naka-experience ng lesser anxiety as opposed to those who have suffered major depression or severe anxiety symptoms. Next slide, please. Okay, now, alam ko ito yung gusto ninyo, no? Kasi paano mo ba ma-identify? Ako ba'y may depression na? O ito ba'y normal na reaction lang? O ito ba'y anxiety lang? Diba? So,
yes, nakahirap na ni-identify talaga. Sobra.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's so confusing. Ano ba to? Depression lang ba ito? Anxiety attack or ano ba talaga? So, sige po, makikinig kami.
Okay. Okay. Kami pong mga psychiatrists, no, meron po kaming pinagbabatayan, no? Yun pong aming DSM-5, Diagnostic Statistical Method. Meron po kaming hindi naman porque sinabi mo sa akin na malungkot ka, may depression ka na agad, di ba? So, when do we know if it is normal depression? When do we know that it is already a major depressive disorder? Okay? So, ayon po dun sa DSM-5, 5 of the following, ano po, in a 2-month period, no? Or 2-week period, nararanasan mo itong mga to, then most likely, hindi po ito ordinary depression. If you feel depressed, nearly every day. Kung halimbawa, ito po yung dinidescribe ng pasyente na mas madalas po yung malungkot ako kaysa sa hindi. Okay? Loss of interest or pleasure existing for at least 2 weeks. Okay? Yung pong loss of interest, yung dati mong ginagawa, dati naman nakakapag-movie marathon ako, dati nakakapag-Netflix ako, ngayon parang wala na akong ganang gawin yon. Dati ang galing kong mangapit bahay, ngayon parang ayoko na. Hindi ko na ginagawa yung dati kong ginagawa. Weight loss or weight gain, insomnia or hypersomnia, hindi po ibig sabihin ay kulang lang sa tulog. Ang sobrang tulog din pala ay pwede ring simptomas ng depression. Okay? Fatigue or loss of energy. Ito po yung mga pasyente na dumadating sa amin na nagko-complain po sila na para po doktor, ang pagkagising ko pa lang sa umaga, para pong pagod na agad ako. Wala pa po akong ginagawa pero para pong pagod na agad yung pakiramdam ko. Okay? Psychomotor agitation or retardation. Yung ayaw mong kumilos. Yung iba naman, balisang-balisa. No? So, pwede pong simptomas ng depression yan. Yung feelings of worthlessness or inappropriate guilt. No? Yung pakiramdam ko, wala na akong silbi, wala na akong pag-asa. Madalas po ito doon sa mga COVID survivor. Yun pong, may mga pasyente po kami na sila yung nakahawa, sila yung may nakapagdala ng sakit sa bahay, unintentionally of course, pero sila yung nakasurvive. Tapos merong ibang namatay, no? Merong ibang naging severe ang effect ng COVID. So kuminsan yun pong tinatawag na survivor's guilt, no? Meron po 'yon. Pero ito pong sinasabi ko na inappropriate guilt, no? Yung hindi ka naman dapat masyadong sinisisi mo ang sarili mo, pero masyado mong sinisisi ang sarili mo, this can be a sign, no, of depression. diminished ability to concentrate or indecisiveness. Yun pong mga estudyante na hindi nakaka-focus, hindi makafocus sa pag-aaral, sa module, or kung ikaw ay nagtatrabaho, they would come to you complaining, hindi na po ako makakonsentrate sa work, hindi po ako makafocus. And lastly, which is very important, yung pong recurrent thoughts of death, no? That the thoughts of death can either be passive or active. Kung minsan, pag sinabi po nating passive, yun po yung mga, ano kaya masagasaan ako? Okay? Ano kaya tumalon ako? Okay? Pero yung active, yun po yung talagang may plano. Okay? So, like I said, no, 5 of 9, no, is already a determinant that one is suffering from a major depressive disorder. So hindi po ito yung ordinaryong lungkot na nalungkot ka lang, no? So if you have 5 of the 9 of these symptoms, then likely you are suffering from a major depressive disorder. Yes, Ma'am Janine.
Doc, what about, kasi I have this one friend na syempre usap-usap sa gabi, and she was telling me na all of a sudden iiyak siya, pero she doesn't know why. Iiyak siya ng hagulhol, iyak siya ng iyak, pero iniisip niya, ano kinakaiyak mo? Pero ano namang, wala pa tong COVID na to, pandemya na to, hindi naman siya ganun. So sabi ko, ano ka lang, chill ka lang, baka naman sobra ka nang naaapektuhan dun sa mga napapanood and everything. So parang friendly advice, sabi ko, just to stay out of yung mga news dyan, tapos yung mga stories, chats, stay out of social media. Yun lang naman sinabi ko, I'm not professional naman. So parang naano ko lang na siguro stay away from social media muna kasi Dok, ako personally nadidepress ako pag nakikita ko sa Facebook. Alam mo yung mga kandila, mga condolences. Before kasi nakikita ko happy birthday, happy anniversary, congratulations. Ngayon kasi Dok, nakikita ko puros kandila, condolences, our deepest sympathies. Oh my God. Para ako, kahit hindi ako, parang tinatamaan na rin ako, Diyos ko, ano ba ito? So, ano ba yung Dok?
Diba? Kasi what do we see in the more commonly now in the Facebook, 'di ba? Kandila, 'di ba? Si Miss Arina nga pag nag-post si Miss Arina na kinakabahan na ako, natutuwa ako pag it's a mass activity or ano, 'di ba? Pero alam mo 'yon, because hindi mo maiiwasan na hindi ka maapektuhan eh, di ba? Kahit hindi mo kakilala, parang may certain sadness, di ba? Nagre-react ka eh, nalulungkot ka.
Sobra akong nakarelate doon. Sobra akong, parang for a time, sobra akong na-down kasi lahat na lang nakikita ko. Tapos hindi na basta tao ha, someone very close to me, very good friends ko na namatay ng parents. Tapos talagang kung hindi na sila ibang tao, so parang ibang impact sa akin talaga. Parang feeling ko na ano na rin ako, nadala na rin ako ng kanilang mga emosyon.
Hindi natin maiiwasang maapektuhan, no? Kaya nga, what do I advise my patients, no? You do selective media, no? Merong pasyente na darating sa iyo, sasabihin nila, doktora, pag open ko pa lang ng Facebook, ganyan na. Eh, di bawasan mo yung pag-Facebook, hindi ba? Bawasan mo, kasi pagbukas ko po ng TV, yun agad yung maririnig ko, bawasan nyo lang. It's enough that you are informed, adequately informed, but you don't need to be informed all the time.
All the time, yes.
Diba?
Agree.
Lalo na kung ikaw ay naapektuhan, lalo na kung ikaw ay nagre-react. Diba? Okay, so moving on. Okay. The previous page was on depression, on major depression. Now, what are the symptoms of a generalized anxiety disorder? Kung yung kanina po ay lungkot, ito naman po yung pangamba. Okay, yung anxiety, no? When do we say that it's a normal anxiety? When do we say that it can already be classified as an anxiety disorder? When you have excessive worry. Kapag sobra-sobra na, okay? Natural lang na mabahala ka, kung may narinig ka, may nalaman ka. Pero pag sobra-sobra na naaapektuhan na yung pang-araw-araw mong gawain, then that becomes a symptoms. Kung ikaw ay may pagkabahala, yung being easily fatigued, no, madaling mapagod, as mentioned also earlier, if you have trouble concentrating or lack of focus, irritable, no? Mapapansin niyo po ito, no? I am guilty of this. Yung dati, ang lawak-lawak ng pasensya mo, pero
Yes,
ngayon,
yes,
parang,
yes.
di ba? Parang ngayon, parang ang dali mo ring mairita, di ba?
Yes, yes,
Sleep
yes. Agree,
disturbances
Doc. Totally agree.
and muscle tension, no? So if
Oh,
you have
yes.
experienced this most days for more than 6 months, no? We repeat, no po, I repeat, no, more than 6 months, then it can be classified as a generalized anxiety disorder, okay? Now, please take note that more often than not, the symptoms of anxiety and depression, nag-o-overlap po sila. Okay? Kadalasan na may anxiety, may depression din. Kadalasan na may depression, may anxiety din. However, meron namang minsan nag-i-exist sila, they don't coexist, but more often than not, they do. Okay? Next slide, please. Okay. So, ito po yung na-mention ko na kanina na out of the symptoms, no, 5 out of 9 that I have mentioned with depression, if you have or any of your loved ones are suffering from these symptoms, 5 out of 9 for minimum of 2 weeks, then it can already be classified as major depression. For anxiety, if 3 of these symptoms have been present for a period of 6 months, then that is no longer an ordinary anxiety. It can be classified as a general anxiety disorder. Next slide, please. Okay. Ito po, ito ay pinost ko lang to give honor dun sa mga health workers natin who did not make it, no? Alam niyo po, kaya isa pa din ako may trauma sa COVID. Kasabayan ng mga ito, nung time na my brother was fighting COVID, kasabayan niya tong mga ito. Kaya I always pray, give tribute, no, to this fallen heroes natin. Next slide, please. Okay. So, what are the indicators, no? The earlier that I have mentioned, no? Ito po yung mga the pathologic side. Okay. Ano ang panlaban natin, no? Ano ang meron tayo, no? So, what are indicators that one has a good mental health? Okay? Stable relationships, no? Family, friends, alam mo may mapupuntahan ka, may sasandalan ka, 'di ba? Meron kang support system. This is very important. Your respect for others, no? Especially those who are on quarantine, no? For those who are suffering from COVID. Self-confidence, this is very important, no? Optimism, you stay positive, you maintain a positive outlook despite the challenges that one is having, physical, mental, and of course spirituality, no? Napaka-importante po nito. Flexibility, you learn to be adjustable, no? You learn to be adaptable. Sense of well-being and contentment, ability to care for others, clear thinking, sense of belonging, resiliency, and empathy. Yung resiliency, this will be highlighted by another speaker later on who will share her own experience, no, about resiliency, no, yung pagiging matatag sa kabila ng mga pagsubok, sa mga kabila ng mga pinagdadaanan, no? So ito pong nandito sa slide na to, ito po ay napakahalaga na meron tayo, lalo na sa pakikipaglaban natin sa pinagdadaanan natin. Next slide, please. Okay, so now this is one of the most important slide. Dito po ay ang sinasabi lang, we will heal as one. Okay? So when do you know? Sabi nga po kanina dun sa first few slide ko, no, it's okay not to be okay. So when do you seek help? No, kailan ka na hihingi ng tulong? Kailan ka na magpapakonsulta kay doktora? Kailan ka na pupunta sa isang professional? Not necessarily a psychiatrist, but a psychologist or a social worker. Okay? So the moment that you feel the need, when previous attempts to solve the problem have not been successful, dati naman doktora, nakikinig lang ako ng music, lalabas lang ako, okay na ako, magmamuling lang ako, okay na ako. Bakit po ngayon hindi? Why? Kasi Ngayon, pag pumunta ka sa mall, dati pag pumunta ka sa mall, pag uwi mo, nakarelax ka, di ba? Pero ngayon, hindi. Pagpunta mo sa
Tense.
mall, takot ka. Kasi baka
Tense na
mamaya,
tense.
nahawa ka doon. Di ba? At pag uwi mo, baka may dala kang sakit, baka makahawa ka. Hindi po ba? So, when the situation is negatively affecting your functioning, role performance, important relationship, or self-care, this is the best indicator po na kailangan nyo na ng professional help. Kapag ka po yung mga nararamdaman ninyong anxiety, depression, ay nakaka-apekto na dun sa important areas of functioning, like your self-care, no? Ayaw mo na maligo, gusto mo na nakahiga ka na lamang, di ba? It is affecting your interpersonal relationship, no? Nagiging mainitin ang ulo sa mga kasambahay, sa mga empleyado, sa mga kasama sa trabaho. So, yung performance mo sa trabaho, kung ikaw ay nagtatrabaho, kung ikaw ay estudyante, naapektuhan na yung pag-aaral mo. So, these are indicators na baka, no? Or more likely, kailangan mo na ng professional help. So, if the signs and symptoms are excessive and causing distress, persisting more than 2 to 3 weeks. Very common po sa atin yan. Hindi naman kaagad na nalungkot ka, nag-isip ka, kinabahan ka, pupunta ka agad sa doktor, pupunta ka agad sa ospital, di ba? Lalo na ngayon, di ba? So kapag ka po medyo tumatagal-tagal na, ang sabi nga po dito, more than 2 to 3 weeks, baka po napapanahon na para humingi ka ng konsulta or you seek professional help. Next slide, please. Okay. So I guess that's my last slide. Thank you for listening. I would like to end this note by saying na malalampasan po natin lahat ito. Okay?
But Doc Arlene, yes, thank you so much. Thank you. But stay put kasi later on we'll have a Q&A. But in the meantime, we would like to call in a sharer. She's so young po kasi minsan ang isip po natin, those seeking professional help are the elderlies, yung nasa range of 40s to 50s, pero we have to be open-minded din po na yung mga kabataan, yung mga millennials are seeking professional help. So I'd like to call in our sharer. She is a music journalist, and to all the listeners and viewers who are Canosians, like kami ni Doc Arlene, we are both proud Canosians. Alma mater namin ay Canosian. But I'm sorry, Doc Arlene. Doc Arlene is 2 years higher. 2 batches ahead. Secret natin yung secret.
Dapat
So,
sinabi mo yun sa
itong tatawagin
introduction.
ko, Canosians, fellow Canosians, ay anak ni Miss Abarquez. So, I'd like to give the floor to the very pretty, smart, and intelligent Miss Sophia Patricia Caraan. Sophie. Hi, Sophie.
Good afternoon.
Thank you for your time. I know you're working.
Yeah.
But thank you for your time. Sophie, I just learned that you sought professional help. So what brought you to this?
Sa totoo lang po, actually, yung I guess side effects ng pandemic, it didn't really, like hindi ko naman po siya masyadong na-experience at the onset. And I think, kasi po, pre-pandemic times, so, you know, like as a way to parang relax from work and to enjoy yourself and to treat yourself, usually po kasi I would go back to Manila and visit my mom.
You're working abroad, right?
Yes po, yeah.
Yes.
So
for the information of everyone, she's working abroad.
Apa, yeah. Nasa Hong Kong po ako ngayon. So yung may mga kahit lang po like 3-day weekends, parang enough na po yun to recharge. Pero ever since nawala po yung opportunities na yun, medyo I kind of started to feel parang stuck. And hindi po ako masyadong, parang literally hindi ako makagalaw. Kasi first of all, ang liit po ng Hong Kong. So wala ka namang ibang pwedeng puntahan. And na-disrupt po yung routine ko na papasok sa office everyday tapos uuwi. Kasi po for a while parang work from home kami for a few months tapos balik sa office tapos work from home again. So parang like I felt very helpless and anxious na ganito na lang yung buhay forever. I'm gonna live and die here without doing anything. So I think siguro po late October last year. Oh yeah, about this time last year, dun ko po talagang consider seriously to seek a therapist kasi po na realize ko po na parang talagang deep inside something was very wrong. Parang ang bilis kong magalit, hindi ako makatulog. Wala akong interest in anything.
So,
But
yeah, I'm sorry. So, Sophie, admittedly, you think COVID made it hard for you to cope up?
oh, yeah, definitely. I think not being for me especially because I work a 9 to 5 workday, 5 days a week. Parang to not be able to do anything outside of work. Na wala kang buhay outside of work. Like that made me go a little crazy.
Mhm. So, dyan ka nag-seek ng professional help in Hong Kong?
Opo, pero actually yung therapist ko po nasa Philippines. So
Okay.
nag-video call po kami.
So, the therapy is helping you right now? You think so?
Yeah. It's been a few months. Pero I've noticed po na at least more recently like I can mas honest po ako with my own feelings to myself and I'm more self-aware. And I guess it kind of makes coping with the pandemic a little easier.
Mm-hmm. So, how is it making you resilient? Itong all that you've gone through.
In a way po, like but in my mind, talagang like parang medyo na-accept ko na po na COVID will be here forever.
Yes.
And that we will eventually have to adapt to it properly. So parang understanding that was one thing, pero being able to see a therapist and parang having someone to talk to po, it kind of parang I don't feel so alone anymore. Na parang okay, sige, there are other people experiencing these things na basically parang na-reassure lang po ako na I'm not crazy, na I'm not insane, that this is normal because of everything that's happening. So.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, so for sure, Sophie, you learned a lot from Doc Arlene's lecture, for sure, because I did learn so many things. And so thank you so much, Sophie, no? I really appreciate the fact that you shared, because not as I was talking to Doc Arlene nga before this, not all people are very much willing to share their experiences.
Yeah, and I think it's important that when you if you want to seek therapy, kung comfortable ka po, I think it's important to have visibility kasi po there's really nothing there's nothing to be ashamed of when you want to seek help. The world would be a better place if people went to therapy.
Of course. Thank you so much, Sophie. And right now, so we go to the Q&A portion.
Thank you, Sophie.
Doc Arlene, I know that you are so welcoming. And ang dami naming natutunan sa'yo. Sa dami namin natutunan sa'yo, ang dami namin tuloy tanong. Alam mo ba, Doc Arlene, before, nagkasipon lang ako nung first week na September. Sipon lang ha. Alam mo ba, nag-quarantine ako for 11 days sa sobrang ka-paranoid ko. Because my mom is staying with me and she's 74 years old. And I have my 2 boys, 20 and 21 years old. Sipon lang yun, Doc. Grabe, I was so hard on myself. Kasi guilty naman talaga ako kasi may inattendan akong birthday party the night before. And may mga tao, sinabi lang wag muna. So, I was so guilty. So, nag-ano ako. Tapos, sobrang feeling ko doon, ang helpless ko, wala akong pakinabang. And parang nung time na yon, sa halip na gusto mong kausap kasi di ba nakakulong ka lang sa kwarto. Ayoko. Parang gusto ko ako lang. Kasi parang, yun nga, I don't know, I was so hard on myself. So, parang sabi ko paranoid.
This is one of the things this pandemic is supposed to teach us. You have to be self-compassionate. You have to be kind to yourself, no?
Yun nga, Dok, oo.
No, diba? Usually we're so hard on ourselves, no? Pero ito yung pagkakataon na kailangan mong matutunan na take it slow. 'Di ba? Take it slow. Ang lagi na lang tayong nasa fast pace eh. 'Di ba? Pero siguro this is God's way of showing us na slow down. 'Di ba? Relax, 'di ba? Pero of course, sometimes easier said than done, 'di ba? Pero how can you relax if you are waiting for the result? Magpa-positive ba yan? Negative ba yan? Hindi ba?
Yes,
You know,
exactly.
in one of the hospitals I go, would you imagine one patient turned out to be COVID positive? He is inside the ward. So, sino magdadala doon? Ako, dahil ako ang lumalabas eh, di ba?
Tama.
So,
Doc Arlene, I see one of our viewers, he's asking, si Mr. J, and he's asking, if one gets anxiety attack, what would be the first thing that he should do when he gets anxiety attack?
Thank you for that
That's
question.
from Mr. J.
Yeah, as mentioned earlier, no, tayo naman talaga may mga normal coping tayo eh. 'Di ba? It's innate in us. Okay? It's innate in us na when you're undergoing may pinagdadaanan ka, normally alam mo yung ginagawa mo. Like for example, no, very common among Filipino yung humor, no? Very common among us is spirituality. No, very common. Yung mga practical, no, na nakikinig sa music, no, mga breathing exercises, no. Usually kung wala pang help na available, yung ginagawa mo dati na pag nare-relax naman ako pagka nag-drive around ako, nare-relax ako pag nakinig ako ng music, 'di ba?
Yes.
Like I said earlier, no, because of the stigma, no, hindi naman talaga kaagad pupunta ka sa professional di ba? So you will not right away seek professional help, di ba? So in our own little way, no, what we used to be doing, we keep doing that, no? Yung alam mo sa sarili mo kung paano ka mag-cope, di ba? So gawin mo pa rin 'yon kung ano yung ginagawa mo dati. Dati ay pupunta lang ako sa gym, di ba? Mag-attend lang ako ng Zumba. Kaya lang hindi available ngayon, di ba? So doon lang muna ako, within the confines of our home, di ba? Doon ko lang muna gagawin 'yon, di ba? So what is innate in you, what you knew has worked before, you try to apply it. You try to do it, no? And like as mentioned earlier in the lecture, if it doesn't work anymore and still the symptoms persist, di ba? Then go see a professional help.
Okay, so Sir J, I hope Doc Arlene was able to answer your query. And before going to one of our favorite teachers in Canosa, before going to Miss H, Miss Sarina, there's a question in our chat box. She's a good friend, Doc. And ito naging COVID survivor to. She had all the symptoms. Ako magsasalita ako in behalf of her kasi good friend ko siya. And siya yung isa sa mga nire-refer ko na very close friend ko na nakaranas ng COVID with full symptoms talaga. So ang tanong po niya, Doc, ano po ang pwedeng i-advise ninyo kapag dumadaan yung di makatulog?
Okay.
Pero survivor na po siya, ha?
Don't worry, we were once in the same boat. Okay. Yung hindi makatulog, no? Kasi meron po tayong tinatawag na sleep hygiene, no? Like I said, no, hindi naman kaagad ay magpapareseta kaagad, 'di ba? So yung sleep hygiene po, no? Usually we don't advise any strenuous activities kapag tutulog ka na. Okay? Kapag tutulog ka na, huwag kang makinig ng mga balita na alam mo naman na maapektuhan ka, na malungkot, na may namatay, no? You listen to soft music na alam mong marerelax ka. Okay? And then, yeah. Another sleep hygiene that we usually advise, and this is, hindi ito common knowledge sa lahat, no? Kapag ka ikaw ay hindi makatulog, huwag kang pupunta doon sa kama na tinutulugan mo or sa bed na tinutulugan mo or sa space na tinutulugan mo at doon ka mag-iintay na makatulog ka. Mali yun, di ba? At dati alam natin ganun, wala, nag-iintay ako makatulog. Yun pala, kasama sa sleep hygiene, saka ka lang pupunta doon sa space na yon where you sleep kapag antok na antok ka na. Hindi ka doon mag-iintay ng antukin ka. Like for example, no, in your room, umupo ka muna sa sofa or pumunta ka muna sa living room at pag inaantok ka na, punta ka doon sa kama mo. Okay?
Dok, parang bangag na bangag ka na sa kakapupunta, no? Para diretso tulog ka na.
Yeah. So, yun. These are the common sleep hygiene. No? Very practical, di po ba? That we can do on our own without any professional help.
Hindi ko alam
without
yun, Doc. Thank you for that
advice.
information. Thank you for that
Yeah.
info. Ngayon ko lang nalaman yan. I'll do that right away.
Pero actually, I would say naman case-to-case basis, di ba? Yung iba naman pagod na pagod, makakatulog pag sa
Diretso
sobrang
na.
pagod daw. Di ba? No? Pero ako din, personally, hindi ako makakatulog pag sobrang pagod. Pero like I said, no,
Yes.
case-to-case basis eh. No?
Ay, kasi adrenaline in us. Totoo yun,
Yeah,
Doc. Ako
oo.
din.
But as suggested, as advice, yun pala, wag kang as much as possible, no? Wag kang gagawa ng mga strenuous activities na kapag ka ikaw ay matutulog na.
Okay. Thank you,
And of
Doc Arlene.
course, if the poor sleep remains persistent, then as again, makakailangan ng professional help.
Okay, thank you, Doc Arlene. So, Ate Elsa, yan ha. Huwag ka na muna matutulog sa sa room mo. Umalis ka muna. Doon ka muna sa couch. So, thank you for that, Doc Arlene. And, of course, we encourage nga pala po those who are asking questions. So, open naman their cameras. Na masilayan naman namin na inyong kagandahan. Hindi naman po baka magsawa na kayo. Mukha na lang namin na nandito. So, we
Hi, Miss
encourage you to
Arina.
please open the cameras. And right now, we are here with Miss H. Miss Arina ay isa sa aming ginagalang na guro nung kami nasa Canosa. So,
Thank
Miss,
you.
hello po.
Hello.
Good afternoon, Miss
Thank
Arina.
you. Good afternoon. Thank you, Arlene. Thank you, Janine. Gusto ko lang ako mag-share. Wala naman ako. Mag-share lang ako nung ako lagi yung kasama sa prayer ng alumni, ng mga elders. One time, may nakapansin sa akin na alumna, minessage niya ako, Miss, bakit po ang boses ninyo ay parang may sipon? May sakit po ba kayo? Sabi ko, wala naman. Alam mo, right after niyan, siguro mga 10 o'clock na yun, nag-message agad ako sa doktor, Hoy, bakit gaganito daw ang aking boses? May para daw ako may sipon. Ano ga ang aking gagawin? Ano ga ang aking iinuming gamot? Siyempre, at the back of my mind, sabi, Miss, niresitahin niya lang ako muna sa sipon. Though hindi pa naman siya, parang antidote lang. Aba, the second day, nakikiramdam na ako. Nung third day, medyo gumaganon ako. Na naman ako sa doctor. Huy, ganarigan nararamdaman ko. Sabi, Miss, pwede ka pong magpaswab na kayo. Sabi ko, ha? Now na? Ba't ako magpapaswab? Parang may denial ako na, ba't ako magpapaswab? Hindi naman ako umalis na Sabi ganun, sabi ko, sige na nga. That time, ako yung may na-postpone ng activity dahil nga, sabi ko, uy, pwede ka akong pumunta ng Canosa kahit ako may, sabi nila, may sipon. Sabi, Miss, pwedeng mag-stay muna ikaw sa bahay. May gagawin ako. Kumbaga, may role ako doon. Sister, hindi muna po ako pupunta kasi po ganito. Sabi ni sister, ha? Anong nangyari sa'yo? Sabi ko, sister, wala ho. Pinapag-stay lang po ako ni Doc, ng dalawang doktor. Dalawang doktor ang aking Sabi ko, bakit ba ako sabi ganan. So, alam niyo what keeps me, yung parang hindi ko maisip yun na baka ako may COVID, baka ako may ganito, asymptomatic. Prayer helps a lot talaga. Talagang, kasi nga, yung prayer, yung bukod sa yung group prayer, mayroon akong personal prayer. Sabi ko, Lord, alam mo, nag-iisa ako ngayon, ganito yon, bukas magpapaswab ako. And that was September 15, ha? Alam mo, Doc, magpapaswab ako, ganito. Alam niyo, pagpunta ko sa hospital, nag-check up ako. Sabi ko, saan ba ako dito tatayo na hindi ako masyadong magkakaroon ng contact sa mga magpapaswab. Siyempre, yung mga magpapaswab, sila yung mga ano bang tawag doon, suspect, mga gan something. Ako'y suspect, sabi ko, anong ilalagay ko ditong, sabi, may suspect. Ba't ako suspect? Wala naman ako. Basta miss, ilagay mo diyan, suspect, at kayo magpapaswap. So, sa ibig, ganun. Sabi ko, buti na lang may nakita akong isang place na ako lang yung uupo doon. Tapos, sabi ko, naku, ano ba itong nangyayaring to sa akin? May kaba ako, pero confident ako na negative naman ako kasi hindi naman ako napa-expose, something like that. Buti na lang senior ako, priority ako na iswab. Tapos mga 8 o'clock ako sinwab, 3 o'clock, siguro mga 3, dumating na sa akin yung result, na negative. Diyos ko, alam niyo, parang nahugutan ako parang na-liberate ako and hindi ko maintindihan kung kanino ko isesend yung And anong reflection ko dito, sabi ko nga yung wag lang talaga ikaw madadown agad, wag yung mag-iisip ka agad ng baka ganito, baka ganito. Basta't ang kinapitan ko lang talaga that time ay wala akong nakahalubilo, wala akong, yung bang, kumbaga, na-affirm ko sa sarili ko na ako ay negative ako. And I prayed a lot talaga. Sabi ko, Lord, thank you ha. Tsaka, sabi ko nga, sa dami ka ako din ng aking santo, ng mga ang mga ito ay rindi na sa akin. Sasabihin, lagi ko itong sinishare, sabi, ay naku, ang mga santong are ay rindi na sa akin. Sabihin natin, yan ako si Lina, yan, kung magdasaliga sa rin, pagbibigyan na natin. Parang, at buti, nakita ko agad doon sa paradigm, Doc, na nandun yung spiritual, and it really helps a lot. Tapos, nakinig din ako dun sa isang psychiatry na si Doktora Di Matatak ata yun, na sabi niya, dapat daw may 5 elements. Yung family mo, seek advice, tapos ay yun ngang faith, tapos ay ikaw mismo, at saka yung, panliman niyang sinabi? Family ata, sabi niya. Tapos dapat lagi ang mga yan ay yung sama-sama sila. And that really helps a lot. Prayer is still the best, pero kailangan pa rin yung other elements para ma-uplift ang tao.
Napakaswerte po natin. Nandiyan si Doc Arlene. Kano
Yes,
siya. Anytime. Thank you so
for
much
your
to Doc Arlene dito sa questions sa chat box natin. One question here is, again, another good friend of mine na I also refer kanina as yung very close na rin sa akin, na COVID survivor. And she had symptoms. So ito po, Doc, ang tanong niya. Magandang hapon, Doc. Dati po, sobrang takot ako palagi. And I feel na lagi akong may dalang virus kapag umuwi ako ng bahay. Kasi, Doc, she works in an office. So every day, 8 to 5 siya, uwian siya. Sobrang takot ako as in nagpapalpitate po ako every time na nasa crowd or may ibang tao. But after ko naman po na-infect ng COVID-19, medyo nabawasan man po yung takot ko. But still, andun pa rin yung takot. Ano po dapat kong gawin? From Leonisa Letargo po.
Okay. Like as mentioned earlier, no, pwede kasi talagang victim ka, 'di ba? Talagang ikaw ay may first-hand experience, 'di ba? So hindi natin mawawala sa iyo yung ikaw hanggang ngayon ay takot pa rin, 'di ba? So babalik na naman tayo doon sa ating doon sa nabanggit ko kanina na lahat tayo may kanya-kanya tayong coping. Okay? So be informed, no? Be confident, no? I'd like to take it from Ms. Sarina, and in one of my slides, no? Be confident. Kung alam mo naman na wala kang exposure, 'di ba? You have the adequate information, no? And like I said, no, normal yung matakot ka given your experience, your first-hand experience. However, if this takot is already affecting, no, your day-to-day, no, then that is the time, that is a signal that you seek professional help. Okay? as mentioned in my slides, no, not the only, but that is an indicator, or that is a red flag na you need professional help is if it is already affecting the important areas of your functioning, in your case, your work. No, kung hindi ka na nakakapag-concentrate out of the takot, if yung normal mong dating ginagawang routine ay hindi mo na nagagawa, like for example, hindi ka na makapunta man lang sa grocery para mag-grocery, no? Hindi ka na, of course, wala naman social gatherings, pero yung dati mong ginagawa na hindi mo na siya nagagawa ngayon, out of that fear, out of that takot, that is an indicator na kailangan mo ng, you need to seek professional help. Did I answer your question?
I guess so, Doc.
Okay.
Kasi siguro shy. So,
Mm-hmm.
again, we encourage to please open your cameras para po personally maano
Jenny,
si
may
Doc.
question sa chat box, kaya lang hindi ko mabasa. Quite
Yes, Doc.
long.
Ito po. So, before going to Miss A, ito po ang isang question dito sa chat box. Again, Doc, she's one of my friends. So, ito po yung
Naghapot
tanong
kaya
niya.
ng mga friends dito.
Talagang hindi kasi
Okay.
Doc to eh. My parents had COVID. Ito po ay si Maria Elma Oviar, si Ate Elma ko po. So ito po yung kanyang tanong sa inyo. My parents had COVID and my dad did not survive. Namatay po si tatay. Napansin ko po na mainitin ang ulo ng mother ko. Pag nagagalit po siya, ay di po siya lumalabas ng room niya at di kakain. Pero in most days naman po, ay okay naman po siya. Lagi lang po niyang hinahanap lahat ng quality ng gawain sa bahay na kagaya ng ginagawa ni tatay ko. Medyo dun po ako nahihirapan kasi ako lang po ang kasama niya sa bahay. Isa lang po siya, Doc, nakasama sa bahay. Si Ate Elma and si Inay. So, si Inay po is 83 years old. So, ano pong sasabi niya dito, Doc?
Okay. Thank you for that question, Ma'am Elma. If you have listened earlier, na-mention ko po yung survivor's guilt, no? Pwede po kasi na nararamdaman niya ng mother mo, no? And this is what I always like to mention, no? Especially these times. Kasi the ones that are most commonly affected by this pandemic are the very young and the very old. Why the very young? Kasi yung mga talbata, yung mga kabataan, sanay po yan ng lalabas anytime pag gustong lumabas, di ba? So, masyado ang naging effect nitong pandemic na ito sa kanila. Okay, why the very old? The very old, no, the elderlies, our seniors, sila kasi because of their age, meron na talaga silang limitations di ba?
Yes.
Much more, it is doubly harder this pandemic because there are more restrictions. Diba? So, that's why yung mga elderly po ngayon, you would notice, no, na medyo irritable sila, apektado yung tulog nila, kasi sila talaga yung mga affected ng pandemic na ito, no? Yung sa mother mo na may irritability siya, no? Like I mentioned, baka she is suffering from survivor's guilt, no? Pwede mo siyang kausapin, no? Pwede mo siyang tanungin ano ang nararamdaman niya. Okay? So, meron naman, I think, na pwedeng, kung halimbawa, kung yung nagtatantrum siya at that particular point na ayaw niyang lumabas ng room, okay lang. Pero yung hindi kakain na magpe-persist, of course, we do not want that, di ba? Kasi magsasuffer naman yung nutrition niya, di ba? Pero hayaan mo lang siya, no? Give her space and time, no? Pero sabi mo nga, most days naman, she's okay, di ba? Kasi we have to understand the fact na hindi rin naman madali yung nangyari sa kanya, that she lost her partner, di ba? So, kung tatanungin mo siya at anong nararamdaman niya, she might open up and you will know what her concerns are. Then from there, you would know the kind of help that she needs. Okay?
Yes, Doc. Thank you so much, Doc Arlene. Yes, very well explained. And we have another question from none other than our mentor, Miss A, Miss Abarquez. Doc Arlene, ang tanong niya ay, Miss A ay mong pakita sa camera pero sabi mo, magsabi ako na magpakita sila sa camera. Anyway, the question of Miss A, Possible kaya na may genetic influence din ang strong at resilient mental health? Kung possible daw po kaya may genetic influence din ang strong at resilient mental health, Doc?
Yes, of course. In every aspect, almost in every aspect naman po, no, of one's well-being, no, ay lagi po yung multifactorial. No, we cannot single out one factor. It's always multidimensional, no? What do I mean when I say multidimensional? No po, biopsycho, sa amin po, no, lagi pong biopsychosocial and spiritual. So lagi pong contributory yan in an individual. So to answer your question, that resilience can be a genetic factor. Yes, it can be. But like I said, if it can be a factor, however, no, there are other contributory factors po eh. 'Di ba? So maaring genetically ay inclined ka to be resilient. However, no, pwedeng may imbalance sa ibang aspect eh. Like, yeah, genetically resilient ka. Diba? Coming from your parents or from the way you were nurtured, diba? However, merong ibang factor na pwedeng humila doon eh. Like for example, no matter how genetically inclined you are, kung the social stressors are becoming you can be overburdened with stressors, then of course that can pull you down. Di po ba? So if on the spiritual side, medyo hindi balanse, then it can also pull you down. Okay? So, that's genetic. Okay? One's psychological makeup can also be a factor. Diba? So, kahit nga, this is my favorite line with that. Ano po? Kahit pare-pareho ng pagpapalaki, no? Kung minsan, yung sarili nating panglaban, doon nagkakaiba eh. Doon po nagkakaroon ng individual differences. That is why, bakit yung anak kong yun, malakas ang loob, bakit naman itong isang ito very emotional, very sensitive, di ba? Kasi nga, despite the same nurturance, the same way you were taken care of, the same environment you grew up with, kaya lang kasi may individual psychological makeup po eh, no? And that can be a big factor po. Did I answer your question, Ms. A?
Yes na yes daw. Doc Arlene.
I think in line with that, I would like to say that your children should have inherited their the resiliency in you.
Resiliency, yes.
I know you. We know you, right, Janine?
Yes, yes, yes.
Your children must have. They are fortunate enough to have that genetic resilient from you, mom. You know what I'm talking about.
Yes, agree.
Thank
Thank you so much for that, Doc Arlene. And I see someone raising her hand. Ma'am Zenaida Willison, Ma'am Zen. Doc Arlene, for your information, she's one of the founding members also of CLODEVS. Kasama namin siya po dito. And Ma'am Zen, can you please open your camera for your question kay Doc Arlene?
Okay.
There you go.
Good evening, ma'am.
Hi, good evening. Good evening.
Hi, Ma'am Zen.
Yes, hello. Yeah, I'm listening. And, the naughty part of me said I should say something because I heard, people are getting fearful, natatakot, And I remember there was a survey conducted, I think, in Asia, and 64% of the population are fearful. Or particularly in the Philippines, talagang natakot na talaga ang population, takot. And then kasunod kasi ng takot, nagagalit, ganon. So may ganong element. So isn't it that from psychological point of view, that one way to control your subject or your subjects is to instill fear in their minds? So just a question.
Thank you for that question po, no? Yung fear, di ba? Fear is a reaction, okay? Kaya lang nasa atin na rin po yun eh, no? How to take it, no? How to make sense of it, di ba? Meron pong iba, kahit takot sila, kailangan nilang kumayod eh. Kasi ito yung mga population na hindi kakain kung hindi lalabas sa kalye at maglalako ng paninda nila. Di ba? So, but there is the element of fear in them. Kaya lang, kailangan nilang mag-survive, ma'am eh. Di ba? So, kailangan nilang labanan yung fear nila. Okay? However, meron naman pong iba na their fear consume them. No?
Yes.
And this leads to something that is pathological. No? Because out of their fear, naapektuhan yung, babalik na naman po ulit ako, dun sa important areas of functioning. Then that becomes pathologic, that becomes problematic. Okay? Pero yes, of course, yung fear po na sinasabi nyo, that can be a motivation, di ba? Para mag-ingat tayo, di ba? Para sumunod tayo sa mga alituntunin, di po ba? Kasi kung hindi, mas lalo siguro mas madaming may sakit. Yeah. Yung fear or fight naman po.
Fight
Fear
or flight.
Fight or flight, no?
Fight or flight.
Fight or flight na yan, meron po akong isi-share dyan. Kasi in this COVID pandemic, ano po, surprisingly or not quite surprisingly, meron pong mga nakasurvive ng COVID, nakasurvive ng quarantine. Pagkatapos, kung kailan sila nakasurvive, saka po magsisink in yung depression. Yung iba nga po, may tinatawag pa kaming COVID psychosis. Ano po, ang ano ko dyan, kasi at that particular point, no, talagang kailangan mong lumaban eh. No? Yun yung fight or flight. No po? Pero kapag ka nag-sink in na sa'yo yung ako pala yung nag-isa ng 14 days, nanganib pala ang buhay ko ng 14 days, di ba? Muntik na pala ako magkaganito ng 14 days, di ba? So, doon kung minsan, doon lumalabas yung depression nila. No? Yun nga pong iba, sabi ko nga po sa inyo, nagko-COVID psychosis. No? Yung iba, saka po lumalabas yung memory loss nila. No? Yeah, sadly, meron pong COVID survivors na nagkakaroon ng memory loss. No? Because of yung mga inflammations na nangyayari sa kanilang brain and something else. No? So, yun po, yung mga effect. No? So, yun pong fight or flight, yun naman po ay not only in the pandemic situation, pero in every situation, di ba? Lagi naman tayong fight or flight, no? It's either you go with it or you escape, no? But either way, lagi naman pong, of course, our goal is survival. Did I give an input? Was I able to give something to your question, Ma'am Zen?
Well, it's just a conversation, so anything it contributes to the conversation is okay. Thank you very much for responding.
Thank you po.
Thank you, Ma'am Zen. Thank you so much. We're still ready for a few more questions. Pwede pa pong magtanong. Let's take advantage of Doc Arlene. Bukas ay busy na ulit yan. Na-ambush lang po namin yan for this segment, for this talk show. Hindi pa po prepared yan. Yan lagay na yan. Kaya send in your questions to our chat box.
I am very sabi ko nga, the honor is mine, no, na to be able to share, no, to be able to talk, to have an audience like you, and I would like to congratulate the organizers of this, ano, na despite our own concerns, our own fears, no, our own issues, you are able to find time, no, despite the challenges of having to do this na at meron kanya-kanya tayong schedule, you're able to come up with this, no? The stakeholders of this mental health advocacies na you are sharing with us, napakalaking bagay ito sa amin. Kasi hindi naman po lahat ay nararating namin, no? Hindi lahat ay napunta sa ospital, sa clinic, okay? So ito po ay napakalaking bagay sa marami. And for that, I'd like to thank you.
Of course, Doc, I just need to ask you this. Can we have your contact number?
Yeah,
siguro
professional.
They will see professional help.
I'll PM it to you, okay?
Yes, daw.
Yeah.
So, meron pa po tayong mga gustong magtanong kay Doc Arlene. Ulitin ko po, let's take advantage of this. Bukas po, BCB na yan. Hindi na po natin yan mahahagilap. And I guess she was able to give us so much inputs po. Although marami na tayong alam. We have 2 more minutes.
Nakakatuwa rin naman actually na madami nang alam ang mga tao ngayon eh. 'Di ba? Yung the stigma of seeking professional help, the stigma
Yes,
of
Doc.
going to a psychiatrist.
Kasi I remember
ngayon.
before kasi, Doc, I remember before, nung younger years natin, kapag sinabing pupunta ka sa psychiatrist, iba yung notion ng tao. Na, uy, teka, ba't nasa psychiatrist yun? Uy, ba't pupunta sa ano yun? Alam mo na,
Exactly.
pero
Yeah.
ngayon, iba na eh. Iba na yung nagiging tema. So, we have a familiar guest here. I'd like to call in one more na magtatanong. Siya ay si Sir Luis Caraan. And for the information of everyone, si Sir Luis po, ang father ni Sophie na nag-share kanina. Yes,
Hi,
Doc.
sir.
Sir Luis.
Nice to meet you. Good
Hi,
afternoon.
Doc Arlene.
Hi.
Janine, nakalimutan mo yung isa pang description. Good husband of men.
Sige,
Ah.
sinabi mo Sir
No.
Luis eh. Bahala ka, sige.
And anyway, Doc, since nag-start yung COVID last year, March, naka-work from home na kami. I'm working with an NGO, international NGO with a Philippine office. So siguro since March 2020, max, malaki na siguro yung 10 times akong nakapunta sa Manila office. I'm staying in Bulacan. Tapos, syempre as nasa middle manager, may project ang hinahawakan, yung stress, yung bigat. Tapos parang ang daming mga activities na hindi natuloy because of COVID. Parang sa akin, to be honest, napakabigat. Gusto ko lang, kasi ang nagiging attitude ko para lunurin yung sarili ko sa trabaho. Hindi naman lunurin yung sarili ko sa alak. Hindi naman ako umabot sa gano'n. Pero gano'n, naghahanap talaga ako ng outlet. Magbasa, manood ng TV. Tapos hindi ako nanonood ng mga depressing. Pero parang ang pakiramdam ko parang gusto ko nang bumigay. Parang bigat ako dito sa ganitong sitwasyon. To be honest, Doc, that's how I feel. Tapos yung dumating pa yung period na nag-positive yung sister ko na parang awang-awa ako. Dahil nakita ko paano sila na-isolate, yung gano'n, yung hirap na hirap sila. Tapos siyempre, after nun, dahil meron silang maliit na negosyo, yung mga tao, dahil nag-positive sila, parang ayaw silang puntahan. Gusto kong pagbabatukan yung mga tao na to. Sabi ko, alam mo yun, yung parang ang tanong ko parang, sa ganitong ginagawa ko na nilulunod ko yung sarili ko sa trabaho para tapos yung ano yung advice mo sa akin? Late kasi ako dumating, Doc eh. Galing ako sa isa pang meeting eh. Kaya hindi ko naabutan yung buong presentation mo eh. So, ano yung pwede mong i-advise sa katulad ko na ganun ang dumadaan sa ganung sitwasyon?
Thank you. Thank you, sir, for that sharing/question. Okay? Katulad po ng na-mention ko kanina, no? Kasi po, yung feeling na gusto nyo nang gumigay, no? Sabi ko nga po, yes, you might have missed what I earlier mentioned na what we are having now kasi is universal anxiety. Lahat po tayo, no? Halos lahat po tayo. Sabi nga kanina yung mga studies, recent studies have shown na most of us, no, are experiencing moderate to severe stress. Kakaunti lang po yung little stress, no? Yung may little stress at this point, no? So it is a normal reaction to an abnormal situation. Okay? Because this is not our norms, 'di ba? Hindi po ito yung nung nakagawian natin eh, 'di ba? Na working from home ka, hindi ka makalabas, hindi ka makapag-unwind, 'di ba? Dati-rati nilulook forward mo yung weekend kasi may pupuntahan ka, you will spend time with this, with that, 'di ba? Ngayon walang ganoon eh, wala tayong nilulook forward eh. 'Di po ba? So, ano po yung ina-advise nila, no? Ang sabi nila, kung ano yung sa tingin mo ay nakakatulong sa'yo, gawin mo, no? Pero yun pong sinasabi niyong nilulunod ninyo ang sarili niyo sa trabaho, I don't think, yes, that may be your way of coping, pero sabi ko rin nga po kanina, this is the time in our lives na we have to be compassionate to ourselves. No po, maaring coping mo yan yung magtrabaho ka na magtrabaho, but remember, anything in excess is not good, di ba? So, coping mo siya up to a certain point, pero kailangan mo ring mag-unload, no? Kailangan mo ring ma-distress. Okay? So, at ikaw naman po ang nakakaalam ano yung nakaka-distress sa'yo, di ba? So, yun ang kailangan mong gawin. Okay? Pero parang bihira akong makarinig ng ganun, lulunurin ang sarili sa trabaho. Ayaw nga natin yun di ba? Pero baka
Workaholic
naman
si Sir Luis,
nakakatulong, baka naman ganun ka-productive, di ba? So, pero we do not encourage that. We do not encourage that because overwork is not anyway helpful. Physically, mentally, di po ba? So, try to be compassionate, sir. Okay? Miss Fruto is raising her hand. Hi, Miss
Yes.
Fruto. Are we okay with Sir Luis?
Sir Luis, thank you so much. Hi, Miss Fruto. Please come in. Hi,
Fruto,
Miss.
it's been a long, long while. Hello.
Miss Fruto is a very, very, very good teacher of ours in Canosa. Miss, kindly, you are muted po. No, saan yan? Hello po.
Sorry. Hello then. Hello. Good evening to everyone. I'm sorry I logged in late. I just got the tail end of what Louis said and what Dr. Arlene said.
Good evening.
And yes, it's true. This is a universal anxiety we are experiencing.
Yes, yes.
Okay, right now kasi I'm with Apex Schools until November 30. And we've been discussing self-love, self-care for so many times. Ganon. Kasi nga napapansin din namin kasi we are all working from home, ang anxiety levels ng aming mga teachers, ng aming office staff, talagang napakataas. And yes, itong COVID na ito walang patawad. I saw the whole family of my brother na COVID sila and unfortunately my sister-in-law did not make it. And nag-down talaga buong pamilya namin. We almost did not, actually not almost, we did not speak to each other because we don't know how to cope with the grief because it was so sudden and it's difficult and we are now just recovering from it all. At ang hirap talaga at talagang doon natin masasabi kahit nasa mga kapatid ko yung sinasabi ko, let's take care of each other but most importantly, let's take care of ourselves first. Love for self is not selfish. It is the highest kind of love kasi if you are not well, how can you help others to be well? Good evening po ulit.
Thank you, Miss Fruto.
Thank you, Miss Fruto.
Isa po rin yan sa mga magagaling namin teachers sa Canosa. Very supportive naman yung mga teachers namin sa Canosa. So thank you, Miss Fruto. Dr. Lynn, another question from Miss Elma Obiar, yung kanina. Till now po, I have my groceries and medicines delivered. And since wala po akong car, nag-hire po ako ng tricycle to bring me to the office and to take me back home. Paglalabas po ako ng bahay, I don't feel confident na isa lang ang mask ko at kailangan naka-face shield ako kahit sa tindahan lang sa tapat. Naka-mask din po ako sa bahay basta lumalabas ako ng kwarto for fear na may dala akong virus galing sa labas. Paranoid lang po ba ako?
Thank you for that question again, Miss Elma. Okay. I will not say you are paranoid kasi ang paranoid is it's a very broad. Okay? When we say paranoid to us, that's something pathologic 'di ba? Hindi ko masasabing paranoid na psychiatric condition siya in itself, no? Baka lang this time because of the were you the one whose father did not make it, no?
Yes, Doc. Yes, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So based on your experience, 'di ba? Who would not take extra care, 'di ba? Based on your first-hand experience, no? Lalo pa may kasama kang elderly sa bahay, 'di ba? I cannot say that you are paranoid kasi ang paranoid po kasi ang paranoid ay yung pakiramdam mo ay may mangyayaring masama sa'yo, may gagawing masama sa'yo, pinag-uusapan ka. Okay?
Parang inuunahan mo na, Doc? Parang something like that? Parang inuunahan mo na yung thinking mo?
Hindi. Baka naman, I would like to say na yung iyong ginagawa, baka you are just being hypervigilant, no? Because of what you have experienced. You are extra cautious, no? Especially that, like I said earlier, you have, ako din po, kahit sa bahay, nakamask din ako. Yeah, kahit sa bahay, nakamask din po ako. And I will not say I'm paranoid. I'm just being extra careful.
Yes.
Diba? I'm just being, kasi knowing that my exposures are in the hospital, in the clinics, diba? So that I will not admit that I am paranoid. So you are not paranoid at that, okay? Like I said, no, you are just being extra cautious about because of your own experience. Okay.
So salamat po for that, Doc Arlene. Are there any more questions? Pwede pa po. Siguro 1, 2 more questions, or kung wala na po, we could wrap up this talk show. Meron pa po ba tayo? So I guess, Doc Arlene, that will be it for tonight.
Yeah, thank you
Personally,
again.
on behalf of the CLODEVS, we would like to thank you sincerely for your time. Ako po ang buhay na saksi on how very short a time we gave Doc Arlene, considering her very busy schedule. Kanina nga po we were talking, no? We were still off the air. 50 lang naman po ang pasyente niya. Na syempre,
Online po yun, sa Mindoro. Sa Mindoro naman.
Sa Mindoro. Sa 50 lang po naman yung pasyente niya. Tapos binigyan pa rin po niya ng time tayo dito. And I'm just so happy at napakarami po ninyong naibahagi sa amin. Sobra, Doc Arlene. Salamat ng marami. At sana ay hindi ito ang huli. Mapa-ambush invitation or prepared invitation. Kasi Doc, talaga napapanahon eh. Sobrang napapanahon.
Yeah.
At alam ko, I anticipated na with this topic, talaga marami mag-participate. 1.5 hours is just a short time. So, thankful pa rin ako dahil nagpaunlakan mo kami. Maraming salamat. And I'm also would like to wish you good health. Mag-iingat ka parati, Doc, dahil ikaw ay frontliner. Kailangan ka namin.
Thank you.
God bless you. At maraming salamat ulit on behalf of CLODEVS.
Same loving wishes goes to you, Sir Carlo, the tech. Thank you very much for the last minute changes. Natuksik ka sa akin. Thank you very much. And again, to the organizers, headed by this time, Miss Janine here. Miss A, thank you very much for this opportune time. And should you need my help in any way, hi, Mrs. Matias.
Hello,
nice
Mrs.
to see you
Matias, all the
here.
way from New Jersey,
Good
US of
evening po.
A.
Yeah. Kanina
So,
pa
hindi
ako
pa
dito.
pwedeng mag-cut ng show. Okay
Kanina
po.
pa ako dito nakikinig. Napakagagaling ng aming estudyante.
For the information of everyone watching, si Mrs. Matias po is our high school principal. Bow po kami dyan.
Yeah.
Our English teacher. Kaya po kami natuto mag-English.
Oh,
Galing Mrs. Matias. All the way from New Jersey, USA. Hello po, good morning.
Good morning. I just would like to congratulate both of you. Ang gagaling nyo. Talaga
Salamat
naman.
po,
So
of
proud,
course.
so proud, so proud, so proud.
We have been
of you.
under your fold.
Yes.
Gagaling,
Thank you po.
gagaling. Talagang
Salamat
ako'y
po.
hangang-hanga.
Salamat po.
Thumbs
Maraming
up
salamat
and
po.
hip, hip, hooray.
Thank you.
Mag-iingat po kayo dyan. Mag-iingat po kayo.
Yeah.
God bless you po,
Oo.
Miss. Thank
Alam
you.
niyo kung anong alam niyo ang coping up ko kung ano, syempre nalulungkot din ako dito. Ang coping up ko is always to get in touch with my apos in the Philippines. I mean, yeah, kasi malalaki na mga apo ko dito eh. Especially we have a special alam niyo naman yun, anak ni
Yes,
Roxanne,
yes.
Yun yung namin, talagang after our rosary, mamaya 7:30 kasi ang schedule ng rosary namin, family rosary, ayun. Lalo na si Miss Hidalgo, hindi yun makakatulog kung hindi yung flying kiss. 4 years old na kasi yung namin, yung aming si Richmond. And then also yung mga
maliliit yung mga bata, they give us so much joy.
Yeah, that's true.
So yun ang coping up ko. At saka narinig ko si Miss Arina kanina, and I don't know because I sorry ha, kasi medyo late akong dumating at iba yung hindi ako nag-alarm clock, sorry naman. So nakita ko kay Miss Arina, sabihin nasa Zoom na po kayo. Sabi ko, naku, Diyos ko po. Iba yung pagising ko, hindi ako nag-set ng alarm. But I'm very happy na nakaabot ako kahit papaano.
Thank you po for your time.
Marami din natutunan sa short span of time. Thank you, Meng. Thank you, Elisa. Thank you, of course, my BFF. You're all my BFFs, my BFF Lina. Kasi may isang dasal kami ngayong 6 o'clock pero medyo nag-excuse muna kami doon. But we will be entering soon.
Okay.
Sunod-sunod ang dasal namin. Kaya napaka-importante talaga ng dasal.
Totoo
It
po
helps a
yan.
lot.
Pakisama po kami sa inyong mga panalangin.
Lahat ng
Thank you so much.
alumni, kasama namin sa dasal.
Thank you very much for that.
Maraming salamat po. Maraming salamat po, Miss. Good morning po. Have a good day ahead po.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, maraming salamat sa inyo.
Thank you po. So, I think it's almost time to say goodbye. And this has been our second episode. Maraming salamat once again kay Dr. Arlene Briones. She's practicing at the Pamedics Medical Center. And kanina po, kung medyo na kayo, you can message me na lang po kung saan siya. Mahaba-haba po. At marami siyang pinupunta.
I'm everywhere.
She's here, there, and everywhere. So you can just message me for professional advice or anything. So, random thoughts lang po on our topic, Kalusugang Pangkaisipan sa panahon ng COVID. Random thought po, yung nabanggit ni Doc Arlene na universal anxiety. Don't worry po because all of us are vulnerable. Hindi po, wala na po ditong mayaman, wala na po mahirap, wala na po may pera, wala na po ditong bata, matanda, may trabaho o wala na po. All of us are vulnerable and we are in the battlefield. Siyempre ako intindi ko po lahat tayo napaparanoid. Ewan ko lang po, bibigyan ko po ng 100 pesos. Ang isang taong makakasalubong ko na sasabihin ng hindi, okay na okay ako. Never ako nag-worry. Never ako napraning. Parang hindi ko po ata ibaba yung idea na yon. So again, there's such thing as universal anxiety. Lahat po tayo nag-worry. Every person na humihinga at alive. Another thing po, yung sinabi na nag-struck po sa akin, yung sinabi ni Doc Arlene, that normal reaction to an abnormal situation. So abnormal po yung sitwasyon natin, and we just have the normal reactions, and that is to worry, to fear, and to feel paranoid. So yun po yung sinasabi niya na normal reaction to an abnormal situation. We'll never know until when itong COVID na to. Sabi nga po nila, COVID is here to stay. But Lord, no naman po. Sana. And one last thing po, kasi sobrang dami namang insights na naibigay sa atin ni Doc Arlene, yung pong it's okay not to be okay. So I had a webinar 2 weeks ago, and ito rin po yung sinabi ng isang doctor from the Philippine General Hospital, it's okay not to be okay. It's okay to be praning at this time of our lives. So hari nawa po na tayong lahat ay nabigyan ng liwanag lalo at nabigyan ng information, and yung questions mo natin ay alam ko po na nasagot lahat ni Doc Arlene. At ako po ay nagpapasalamat din sa mga nakinig, mga nanood po sa amin. Maraming salamat po. I know that this will not be the last. We still have a third episode. Who knows, baka po it's something about the mental health or kung ano pa man po. And I'm just so thankful po for your presence there. Sa lahat po mga nagtanong, sa lahat po ng naging patient enough to hear us. So before I wrap up the talk show program, I'd like to thank again Miss Abarquez, the wind beneath our wings, our tech guy, si Sir Carlo, and all the other members of our NGO. We are 8 empowered Batanggenyo women dito po sa CLODEVS, the Cooperation for Local Development Solution, CLODEVS. So magandang gabi po sa inyong lahat, at muli ay maraming salamat po sa panonood at sa pag-tune in dito sa aming program na ito. Hanggang sa susunod po. God bless us all. Magandang gabi po sa inyong lahat.
Thank you.